And when you talk about this, it's because I understand that you basically, when you started with this company, you were the Chief Talent Development Officer. Now you become the Group CEO. How has the transformation process to you? I mean, yeah.
I think it's been very natural. The core lucre of this company, legal unfair competitive advantage, is our people. So I think it's only natural for someone from talent development to progress up in this company.
Is there any stories or unforgettable incident during that period of time that you can share with our audience?
There's been some incredible moments. You mentioned how we sponsor the opportunity to go back to school.
Yes.
We have 6,000 colleagues in this company, many of whom never had the opportunity to go to university. We offer a second chance to go back and earn your degree. But everything we do, you have to earn. We can give you a hand up, we never give you a handout.
I see. I understand you have a proper punishment and reward system in your organization. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Happy to, David. So we look at our entire talent base, the salary base, and then ask the bottom 5% to leave the company. This is due to finding the right match. Now, what we mean by a wrong match is, for example, you may be great with people but poor with numbers, but you're sitting in our finance department. So when we ask you to leave, we give you an opportunity to switch. You may switch into sales, and that would be considered an exit. So it's about finding the right match and finding that match early so that you can thrive. It's about empowering people. It's about giving the right context to do better.
Nick, I understand a lot of organizations have limited resources. How do you put these resources into your organization in terms of selecting the right people on board?
I think every company, big and small, have limited resources. Our view is we like to focus our resources on the top 95% of people in our company rather than get distracted by the bottom 5%. That's why we're very focused. Develop our best 95% of people.
Nick, let me ask you, what do you learn about over the years? How do you become a better leader?
I think the key is to look at the big picture. Look at from the whole picture in rather than just the person out. For example, during COVID, we consider broadband to be a lifeline service. Can you imagine living through COVID without broadband, without being able to work from home, educate from home, entertain from home? So when we consider ourselves as a lifeline service, when you see an emergency, you run towards it, you don't run away from it. And that is what keeps us motivated. It's part of making our home a better place to live.
I remember you mentioned everyone have their success stories. What's your philosophy on yourself and on HKBN?
The success is the question we ask ourselves as a company, as individual, what would our home look like without us? And if the answer is our home is better because of us, then we're successful. I believe Hong Kong today is stronger as a city because of the benefits we've delivered to this city through better broadband services, through competition. Our Home Plus initiative will help bring retail prices down. These are all how we define success.
What is your future plan, both for HKBN and for yourself?
The future plan is to continue to execute, make our home a better place to live. We have done that in the telecom space. We're now expanding that to the retail space. Now, the retail space is 10 times the size of telecoms. So every time we come close to solving a challenge, we pick a new challenge based on the confidence and the experience that we've gained from the previous attempts.
Yeah, that's where I see you growing over the years. And what about after the pandemic? What do you think about the opportunity and challenges for Hong Kong business in the next 5 to 10 years?
There will be lots of opportunity. COVID has changed the way we run the company. We're far more flexible. You have to be far more flexible today. You have to be far more accommodative to our talents. If you look at what we did with our government subsidy, we passed through 100% of our government subsidy, which represents about 20% of our net profit to our talents. And that's something that we are incredibly proud of having done.
That's wonderful.
In our company, we're always talking about change or die. That's a constant. The only constant we have is to change.
I see.
No matter how good we are today, we will be outdated by tomorrow. Feel like When you buy the latest iPhone 12, we know in 4 years' time it's going to be outdated. That's how we run the company. We may be the newest model today, but in a couple of years' time, we're going to be outdated. So let's always be on the lookout for change.
And what do you see Hong Kong company has to do in order to transform themselves from today's situation?
I don't see there's a Hong Kong company. I think we are a global company. We aim to be world class, not Hong Kong class. So the key is to look beyond Hong Kong in terms of best practices.
So you probably would suggest some Hong Kong-based company to also look abroad for some further opportunities as well?
Certainly. I mean, we should be world class, not Hong Kong class.
What's an example of having alignment and having rules in the company?
An example would be, we issue a lot of corporate credit cards. A corporate credit card is settled directly by the company to about 1/4 of our entire talent base. And we have no rules. Spend as you see fit. Spend as you see is right for the company. The only rule that we have is we reserve the right to put your corporate credit card spend on the intranet for all our co-owners to see how you spend the money. Now, if you think you're doing the right thing, hurry up and go spend it. If you are concerned about how you spend the money, then don't spend it. As simple as that. We do not need a thick rule book to tell you how to spend company's money.
I understand that you have few transition over the years. You have acquired WTT and JOS, recently. How do you actually reconcile different talents from different organizations? Do they have any, challenge in terms of communicating with each other, and how do you resolve with them?
I think the key is we want cultural fusion, a fusion of the best, not cultural confusion, a mixed match of different cultures. So we have a very distinct core purpose: make our home a better place to live, and that's the overriding North Star. Under that, it's talent obsession. A lot of companies say they want to be, they're shareholder obsessed, they're talent obsessed, they're customer obsessed. If you have too many obsessions, you're just confused. Ours is very, very clear. We look after our community and we treat our talents well because it requires passionate talents to deliver the core purpose.
So let me ask you, Nick, is there any unfinished business for yourself and for HKBN in the future?
Business is never finished. Our aspirations will never be achieved. Aspiration is like our culture is like aiming for the North Star. You will never get there, but every day we get one step closer.
That's fantastic. I think our community will very much enjoy what you just said. That's a fantastic example to illustrate to our community.